Assalamu alaikum, grade 8. Today we're starting a new section. We're doing fractions, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to do addition and subtraction of fractions. So I have put on a YouTube video for you to watch, and now I'm going to explain the examples for you, right? So when we're doing addition, the important thing is to see our denominators, right? So if you look at this question here, I've got 1/6 plus 2/6 plus 1/6 again here, right? So can you see my denominators there? I've got a 6 at the bottom, I've got a 6 at the bottom, and a 6 at the bottom. So if you watch the video, you will see that this is a very easy question to do. What we're doing is we're keeping the same denominator. So we just write 6 at the bottom, and we're just adding the numerators on the top. So we're saying 1 plus the 2 plus the 1 there, which gives us 4/6. Okay, so it's very simple when your denominator is the same. Let's look at another example. So this example says 2/7 plus 4/7. Remember, we have the same denominator. So what do? We're keeping the denominator at the bottom, and we're just adding the numerators, which is 2 plus 4, which gives us 6. So our answer becomes 6/7. So when you see a fraction with the same denominators, you know it's very easy to add like that. Now we're going to denominators with different fractions with different denominators. Okay, so have a look at this fraction here. This one says 1/4 plus 3/8. Can you see that there are different denominators? So when you have a different denominator, you need to change it to a common denominator. That is what you need to do. The rule is you cannot add the fractions like this. They are not like fractions, so we cannot just add them up together like how we did that. So what we want to do is we want to find a common denominator that both of these bottom numbers can divide into. So the easiest way to do it is you're taking the small denominator and you're seeing first, that is, which is 4, can it divide into 8? Can 4 divide into 8? Yes, my answer is yes. So I'm going to use 8 as my denominator, as my common denominator. So I write down 8 at the bottom here. Then I want to see, so obviously this is going to stay as 3/8. We don't have to do anything to that fraction. Now I want to see how am I going to change this 1/4, which is 1/4, to a denominator of 8. So what did I do to the 4? I've multiplied it by 2 to get to 8. So what I've done to the bottom part, I need to do to the top part. So I multiply the numerator by 2 as well, and then I'm getting 2/8. Can you see what I've done? I've written 1/4 as 2/8 by multiplying the bottom and the top by 2. And this is, you should have did it last year. We call it equivalent fractions. Okay, we're finding an equivalent fraction, and what we're doing is we're finding a denominator that both of them can divide into. So this stays as 3/8, and this one became 2/8. Now you can see our denominators are the same. So I'm keeping my denominator at the bottom, and what do I do now? I just add my numerators up, which will be 2 plus 3, which becomes 5, and my answer will be 5/8. Okay, let's do another example. Okay, now we're subtracting. The subtraction has the same rules of addition. So let's carry on with another example. I've got 3/5 minus 2/5. So what can I do here? Look at my denominator. My denominator is the same, so this is a very easy question. All I need to do is I need to take the numerators, and now we're subtracting 3 minus 2 on the top, and my answer becomes 1/5. This is because I have the same denominator. It's the same like addition. We're keeping the denominator and we're just subtracting the numerators. Now let's look at this example here where we have different denominators. Okay, so what you can see here is I've got 5/8 minus 1/3. So I can't just keep the denominators like that. I have to change the denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to see if the smaller denominator can divide into 3. Can 3 divide into 8? Can 3 divide into 8 exactly? No, my answer is no. So I can't use the bigger denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply my denominators together. So I'm going to take 8 multiplied by 3. So if I'm saying 8 multiplied by 3, my answer becomes 24. So I'm going to use 24 as my denominator. Now how did I get to 24? So what did I do to 8 to get to 24? I multiplied it by 3. Okay, so 8 times 3 gives me 24. So what should I do to my numerator? I'm going to multiply my numerator by 3, and my answer is 15 over 24. I've changed that to an equivalent fraction. Now I need to do this on this side here. If I want to get to a denominator of 24, I have to multiply 3 by 8. So I said 3 times 8 is 24. So what must I do to the top part? I'm going to multiply it by 8. So my answer is 8 over 24, and I've got a subtraction here. So 15 minus 8 becomes 7, and I'm keeping the same denominator, which is 24. I can only subtract when I have the same denominators. Again, what I have done, I have converted this to an equivalent fraction and converted that to an equivalent fraction. So what you need to do is you need to look at the denominators. If the small denominator can divide into the big denominator, let me give you an example. If I have 2 over 3 and I'm adding 1 over 6, okay, I take the small denominator, which is 3, and I'm saying, can 3 divide into 6 equally? And my answer is yes. So then I would use 6 as my denominator. So I'm going to keep 6, and I'm going to keep 6. This one is fine. I don't need to change it. It's 1 over 6. But I need to change this one here. So what did I do to the 3 to get to 6? I've multiplied it by 2. So I need to multiply my numerator by 2. So I've got 4 over 6 plus 1 over 6. Can you see this one has been changed to an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 6, so that we can keep 6 and just add 4 plus 1 is 5, and my answer would be 5 over 6. Okay, but the difference here is you're testing whether the small denominator can divide into the big denominator. My answer is no, it can't. So what am I going to do? I'm going to multiply these denominators together. So I'm going to say 8 times 3. So I'm going to use 24 as my denominator, and then I'm going to convert them to equivalent fractions and then only subtract. Okay.